Hi everyone, and welcome to another day of our drawing challenge where we're going to be drawing a totem. And much like one of our previous lessons where we build a bunch of different shapes together to form a more complex shape, we're going to be doing that again. And you can pick any assortment of shapes in any order, but we're going to start with a very flat disc, a cube, then a cylinder, and then on top of that cylinder, we are going to have a sphere. And then after that sphere, we're just going to throw a bunch of different shapes on it, get really creative, and just try and use our imagination to build something rather than copying something that already exists. And I know for a fact that a lot of people have difficulty creating something from nothing, especially in drawing. A lot of people use references and they just adapt something they already know. But in this case, we're going to draw something from scratch. And I'm going to start by drawing this very loose oval at the bottom. And all of this is just going to be quite a rough sketch. And then we're going to draw a more defined piece over the top of it. So once I've got this oval, I'm going to draw two parallel lines down, as we always do, and then create this parallel curve underneath it to get this disc shape. And because we're going to be stacking lots of different shapes on top of each other, quite often I'm going to be drawing reference points, little cuts through the shape halfway through, just to get that sense of depth. So when we place another shape on top of it, we can be comfortable knowing where they are in comparison to each other. So now that we've got our disc, I'm going to be drawing a cube on top of it. Quite a fat cube, because if it was too thin, it wouldn't be able to support the structures on top of it. Not that it physically exists, but that's just kind of logic that I'm going through. So now that I have all those reference points, I get more of a sense of depth of our disc, so I know where the corners of our cube are going to be, and then I can sketch the outline of that cube as well and do the exact same thing. So I can find the center of the cube on top by doing corner to corner, and then where they intersect, that is going to be the center of the cube, and I can use that to draw another oval perfectly in the center, hopefully, and that will give us the base of our cylinder, like so. And then we can make that cylinder as tall as we want. And I think at some point this might be quite a good exercise to really get used to shading. If you create a more detailed totem, you could maybe have different animals' faces as part of this totem, and then shading those details will be really good practice, I think. But we'll do that in the future, I think. So now that we've got our cylinder on top, which we should be extremely familiar with, I'm going to draw another couple of reference points so I know where the sphere is going to be. And I'm going to sketch a circle, and then just add a couple of reference points to show where the center is. And yeah, let's add another cylinder on top of that sphere. So hopefully that looks a lot more 3D now. Adding a sphere and then a point on top of it, almost like it's a rocket. And to add some non-uniform shapes, we're just going to do another pole sticking out the side of the sphere. And then, so that's more front facing, but this one is going to be popping out the back of the sphere. And we're going to make this really weird and just have it dangle on the left, like so. And that's basically our planning stage of our totem. I guess we can add one more additional cylinder on the left-hand side. And as always, I'm going to be decreasing the opacity of that layer and then adding a more defined layer on top of that. And there's me with my fat fingers again. I don't know why, whenever this happens, it's always the darkest the line can be, rather than being quite a light, sketchy line like I'm drawing now. Doesn't matter. But yeah, we're only going to draw over what we'd be able to see at this angle. So anything behind the cube won't be able to be seen, so we're not going to draw that. And I still like to add the reference points, as it can help us shade, I suppose. But it's pretty simple from here on. Just picking the lines that we want to draw and just going over them a bit darker. I do have to apologize though, because yesterday's video was pretty terrible. That was peak flu. I had shivers, headaches, couldn't really breathe properly, but a long night's sleep and I'm better than ever, mostly. I did have quite a big bowl of ramen before I went to bed, and I think that's the miracle cure that recovered me from the brink of death. Okay, I'm being dramatic, but honestly, ramen cures everything, especially in the winter. Anyway, it's looking a lot tidier now. If we wanted to add color, it would be a lot easier to do so at this point. And out of all the shapes that I'm putting into this totem, my favorite has to be a sphere. They were really daunting when I first started drawing them, because it felt like the least logical thing to make 3D, but I always thoroughly enjoy drawing spheres now. They're just so satisfying and feel so easy to get right, because you don't have to worry about the length of any sides like a cube, or the angles. All you have to worry about is the shading. And drawing it like this, it just makes it look right, in my opinion. I'm still not completely comfortable how to make them look realistic. Add a bit of texture to the outside, but I'd very much like to do that in the future. And there we have it. There is our super special totem. And all we're going to do now is add some shading to it, using just a very light brush, going over some of the lines, kind of just sketching through. I wish I could see what your totems turn out to be, but I'm sure they're going to be even weirder than this, I hope, anyway. And looking at this now, it makes me really want to get into lessons in perspective, because things seem a bit off at the moment, but I feel like there's a lot of potential there. And adding these kind of lines here, I feel like always gives cylinders a bit more of that 3D effect. As with a sphere, I'm going to be adding a brief, I guess it's a shadow on the bottom half of the sphere. There we have it. Feel free to ask me any questions at any point. I always enjoy answering them, whether it's about the process, general art questions, or I suppose why I'm doing this in the first place. Always happy to answer. And there we have it. I'm particularly proud of this. The past couple of days have been a bit rough due to my sickness, but we're back, baby. We're excited about art, and we're going to put all of our effort into it. So, thank you everyone for watching. I hope that you were able to draw a totem of your own, and that you were able to learn something. As always, have a great day, and hopefully I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.